Yo, welcome back everyone to another video on Fresh Cut Slim, and this is a different video compared to normal. I actually don't think I've ever really talked or done anything like this before, but this is going to be not necessarily a political video, but it's going to be about the tariffs and my thoughts on the tariffs, because it's kind of going to be impacting everyone around the world. You know, no matter what country you're in, basically, these tariffs that are going on in the United States are going to be impacting pretty much every country, and then every country is also putting tariffs back on the United States. So it's like it's a big mess. It's a big mess, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it. And also, I don't have any video ideas. I don't know what to do anymore, because every single video I do, no one wants to watch. So F it, let's just do this. So if you don't know what tariffs are, they are basically a tax that's added onto products when they are brought into a country. So basically, recently Trump announced 25% tariffs on auto parts that are not made in the US. So that means that, let's say if Mexico makes auto parts and they ship them to the United States, the importers are going to have to pay 25% on those products. So all of a sudden that product, let's say it was, I don't know, $100. Now it's $125. Now, contrary to what's been said, the people are going to have to pay for the tariffs. That is passed on to the consumer. So that is going to get put into the vehicle, and that's going to be passed on to the consumer, because car manufacturers cannot afford to eat 25% and not pass it on, because their margins are not that high. The idea behind tariffs is that it's going to force manufacturers to bring back jobs to the US, because then, you know, they won't have to deal with tariffs being placed on their products. So if you think of it that way, it kind of makes sense that, okay, yeah, that could work. But the issue is building a manufacturing facility in order to build these products takes years. So, you know, over the course of a couple years, however long it takes for all these companies who might want to come back to the United States to build manufacturing plants, to build these things, if it takes 2 years for all these companies to build, you know, manufacturing plants, that's 2 years worth of tariffs that people are going to have to put up with. So you can see how this could be an issue, at least for the near term. Maybe 5-10 years down the line, you may see the prices come down and manufacturing come back to the US, and, you know, that'd be a good thing. But until that point, prices on a lot of things are going to be a lot higher until manufacturing returns. And people, you know, are already stretched quite thin as it is. And if Trump wants to have, you know, a favorability with people, squeezing them harder for a couple years, although it may bring jobs back to the US, you can see, you know, people want to be able to afford to live. I don't think they care about the long-term picture if they can't afford tonight's meal or tomorrow's meal. If they can't afford this month's rent, they don't care about 5 years down the line. To me, I can at least see how this is going to be an issue, at least economically, for a lot of people. In my opinion, I would think doing incremental tariffs would be even better, or the best option. Say you start off with 5%, and then in 6 months, there's another 5%, and then in 6 months after that, there's another 5%. That way, it gives companies time to start moving manufacturing back to the United States without completely destroying the economy. So you can see how this is kind of a tricky situation, right? Like, the way things have been going, all these jobs have left the United States to go to countries which are cheaper to manufacture stuff in. So yeah, you want to bring these companies back, but in order to do that, you have to incentivize them. So you either do tax cuts or you do tariffs. But then doing that, you're hurting your citizens, because they have to pay for the import costs of the products. Like, I saw Trump was saying that he was saying countries have to pay. That it's not true. It's people have to pay. All right, see here. This is from the BBC. Big black companies that bring the foreign goods into the country have to pay the tax to the government. So they're the ones who bring it in, so they pay the tax, but they can't sustain a 25% loss. So they're going to pass this on to you, the consumer. So we're not getting political here, but people have to pay. It's not the countries who have to pay. It's people who have to pay, and the companies have to pay. But the companies will pay it, and then they just pass that on to the consumer, because most companies don't have, especially like car manufacturers, I don't think their margins are 25% or higher than that. So they can't afford to do that. So if you thought cars are expensive now, oh baby, it's gonna get bad. Not to mention the fact that all these other countries are now putting tariffs on the United States. Like Canada did that. I think the EU was doing that as well. Like, that's a lot of countries. So that you know, is going to make it so that if the US is shipping stuff to these countries, all of a sudden they're going to have to pay the tariffs, which makes it less likely that they're going to order stuff from the United States. You can see how this is an issue, because now if companies come back to the United States to make products, those products can be sold in the United States without having to deal with tariffs. But if they want to export their products to other countries, all of a sudden they have to pay tariffs. So they have to pay tariffs no matter what, basically. Whether you're in the US or out of it, there's going to be tariffs if you're involving yourself with the United States. And then that leads to the question of, well, is it worth it to manufacture stuff and sell it in the United States, or is it more profitable for a company to be out of the United States and then just sell their product to the rest of the world where they don't have to deal with tariffs? Anyway, that's probably it for this video. Just something to think about. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's completely different than normal, but whatever. I'll see you guys next time.